20. For a while, all I can do is stand there, considering what to do next. My heartbeat has slowed after the adrenaline rush. It beats with a steady, grave rhythm in my chest. High on its rock, the ugly carcass of the fortress ruin looms over a jungle that is a violent outburst of plant growth, one that swarms with venomous insects and choking vines. The entire place is a stinking stew of rampant, undisciplined nature, where death and decay relentlessly pursue life. And behind the poisonous green that swarms over bedrock, and beneath the deeply forbidding conglomeration of cubes on the hill that could be some grim structure built from a million coffins, there is some other thing. A monstrous sense of charge. It's as if what I see now is a thin mask that conceals a power that is immense and as implacable as it is faceless. I feel it. It's growing in strength. A dark heartbeat building in strength and purpose. Now my solitude is like a weight I am forced to carry. I've never felt so alone in my life before. A breeze slides through the bushes, drawing out a breathy hiss, a sinister sound, as if the planet itself exhales. A suggestion of something long dead returning not to life, but to some grotesque state that mimics life. My eyes are drawn up to the fortress again. Its walls and vine-covered columns no longer appear inert. Whatever dark energy pulses beneath the sweating forest is seeping into that cold structure too. Somehow it seems watchful now, as if a cold, sinister intelligence high on the mount watches me, recording my every move. My deep, slow heartbeat seems to speak to me of impending events. A profound change will take place soon. I feel its dark promise in my bones. A transformation, an imminent passing from this universe I know into some dark abyss of the soul, an alien place that will never willingly permit my return. At least, not as I am now. It will be a place that is malignant with pain and despair, a crucible that changes me forever. Or is that fatal intersection of time and location I foresee my moment of dying, when I will be torn from this universe for the rest of eternity? My heartbeat slows, my respiration falters, my eyes are closing, and all-engulfing darkness is blooming behind my eyelids. I know I should move, but I can't. A voice whispers deep inside my brain. Give up. If you try, you fail. Why exert yourself in vain? Lie down here. Lie down. Sleep. Look out! I open my eyes to see that the butterflies have settled on my arms and legs. They are the size of a hand and are decorated with purple and gold heart shapes on their wings. My sudden movement as I dodge sideways disturbs them, and they flutter away in a rush. From above me, a shape descends. I drop to a crouch and point my gun, trying to find a target. Only it's no hostile creature. In astonishment, I watch as the professor tumbles out of the blue sky to the ground. A second later, he crashes into a waist-high clump of plants. Running forward, I look down at the man as he lies there amid crushed stalks, his arms and legs flung out. He groans. That was no accident. That was deliberate. They dumped me here. They did this to me. They have cruel bones, Jomi. I look up. Kai is crouching by the lip of a new hole in the grey tube that runs above my head. Kai calls out, Jomi, what's happening? She's seen the smoke rising through the trees from the still red-hot fragments of Dalek casing. I answer her question with a different one. Kai, can you get down here? I'm going to jump. Go for the plants, where they're thickest. They'll break your fall. But not by much, the professor adds bitterly. My aching back. He still lies there wincing and grimacing. Then his expression alters. "Kai!" he yells. "Don't jump! Get back from the opening!" I look up in time to see what I take to be a swarm of black insects approaching the section of tube where part of the floor is missing. Kai sees too. She springs back in a split second. Not a moment too soon either, because that swarm of misty black abruptly condenses into a hard slab. Swiftly it flies toward the tube, then clamps itself over it, neatly sealing the rupture. "Damn!" I hiss. "She should have jumped." "If she had jumped into that thing as it condensed..." The professor grimaces. "Kai! Don't waste your breath, Jeremy. She can't hear you." The man wipes scraps of leaf from his face. "If I were you, I'd..." "What's that?" A cracking sound. "No!" Plants enclose the man in a kind of spiky green halo, but I see that they appear to be shrinking as a depression forms beneath his weight. The cracking is replaced by a loud snap. Even as the professor attempts to stand, the ground sinks beneath him. Then a whole section falls away. He plunges from sight with a yell. There's the sound of a heavy object falling, striking the sides of a pit as it does so, before eventually slamming into the bottom. Heart thumping, I edge towards the edge of the hole, mindful that there might be only an insubstantial crust of earth and plants beneath me. "Professor!" I see him clinging to the edge of the hole, hanging there by his hands. His feet swing beneath him, and below is only a deep, dark void into which scraps of earth and plant stems whirl away to vanish deep underground. A section of steel grid peels away from behind the man to fall into the abyss, with a series of thuds followed, some time after, by a crash. It must have been another one of those falling that had led me to think that it was the professor that had hit the bottom of the pit. "Give me your hand, Professor." "Stay back. It's not safe." I lay down my gun, then move forward on all fours, spreading my weight as much as possible. Now I see that a whole series of grid covers the pit. They are so corroded that one has given way beneath the man's weight. I never noticed the hole before because of the profusion of vegetation that swamps the entire terrain. "Easy does it," the man says. "Move a little to the left. No, your left. There's a solid-looking girder beneath you now." He throws out his hand as I extend mine across the infestation of plant growth. I seize his hand, gripping it as tightly as I can. "It's all right," I tell him. "I'm not letting go." "Thank you. I don't think many would have risked their own lives for a madman like me, would they now? Please, just try and pull yourself up." With a better grip, he manages to haul himself out of the pit. "I don't know how stable this surface is," I tell him. "Move over to the incline there behind me. That appears to be solid." "It's not stable at all," he pants. "Run!" He scrambles to his feet. I grab the gun and sprint back for the incline. Glancing back, I see a whole section of ground where I hauled the man out is now sagging. With a soft roar, it collapses inward into the hole. Moments later, I hear a massive thud as it crashes down onto the floor of the pit. Close one. He throws himself down onto the ground. There he rests on his back, catching his breath. During this interval, I take the opportunity to tell him about the death of Tarrant. He grimaces in sympathy. Then I describe my clash with the Dalek in the jungle. He nods at the gun. "You fired first, I take it?" "Not first, but more accurately." "Good shot." Then his eyes stray back to the pit. "Thanks again, Jommy." Pulling off my helmet, I sit down beside him with a grateful sigh. "Don't mention. It's all part of my duties. Above and beyond, I'd say. My goodness, just look at that." He's gazing up at the grey tubes that snake across the sky. "Like Christmas bunting." He shoots me a sudden grin. "But you don't know anything about Christmas, do you? Christmas trees, streamers, decorations, Yule logs, mince pies by the truckload. And carol singers. Silent night, holy night. He hums the notes of a song. Happy memories? I ask. Yes, they must be. I can picture friendly people in paper hats. They're all smiling. Makes me want to smile too. You're remembering more? He nods. Your name? He shakes his head. Do you know why you're here on this planet? Brought. Why? He shrugs. And you've always been here alone? No companions? He holds up a finger as if remembering, then begins to speak. There was... No, it's gone. He shakes his head in frustration. That happens. I see a face in my mind's eye. I know the face. I know, moreover, I can put a name to it. Then... He clicks his fingers, thinks again for a moment. Just when I anticipate more memories are revealing themselves to him, he exclaims, What a remarkable world! Those buildings, extraordinarily ancient. The aerial tube network, clearly some rapid transit system. Defunct now, of course. Decay, retrogression, entropy. They've made pedestrians of you and me both, Abruptly, he sits up on the grass. Of course. There's life in this old dog yet. The fabric of the metropolis has the ability to dissolve sections of itself, then reseal them. An ability that caused our spectacular fall to Earth. He jerks his head toward the tubes. But that can't be a random effect, can it? You mean someone intended us to drop from the tube right here? It does seem so, doesn't it? His voice quickens. Look up, Jummy. What do you see? Grey tubes, blue sky. What don't you see? The sun. Absolutely. That's no more blue sky than I am. In truth, we must be deep, deep underground. But the size of the place. And there was a viable Dalek here. I don't understand, Professor. Our scouts should have found all this when they ran a scan on the planetary system. Then the shielding is effective. That's what makes me so unhappy. Oh? The Daleks must value this place very, very highly to bury their fortress here, then shield it so effectively. They've channeled a lot of resources into this. They have, haven't they? Then they've let it go to ruin. Ah, what do I spy here? The Professor climbs to his feet, dusts away scraps of leaf from his clothes, then bounds to a clump of plants. Seizing them, he begins tearing them away, flinging them behind himself in a flurry of green. Come here and see this, Jummy. I see that he is exposing what appears to be an array of vertical control panels. All are corroded. Sophisticated electronic systems, he tells me, all permitted to become weed-infested. He uses a thumbnail to scribe lichen from a dial. What kind of ode to this ruin would Shelley have composed? He stands there, feet apart, both hands on his hips as he surveys the landscape. If you could sweep all the vegetation away, you would see machinery of all sorts, fabulous structures, a city of machines. What would that be? A Technopolis? Electropolis? A citadel of machines to serve machines? Daleks? Why not? These beings you call Dalek might well be responsible. But why create all this, then surrender it to trees and insects? I don my helmet. Those questions aren't for me to answer, Professor. No doubt my commanders will carry out a thorough investigation. My priority now is to find my platoon. And Kai. But I can't help wanting to dig a little deeper here. There are so many fascinating things. Look. He taps a toppled block of hardware with his foot. That detects the fluctuation in the gravitational field of a cosmic body. So sensitive it can even determine the gravitational pull of a grain of sand floating out in space. I raise an eyebrow, which the man interprets clearly enough. Yes, I recognize the device and know its capabilities, but I still don't know my own name. I guess I'll be calling myself Professor for a long time, don't you? Now, He hurries to another clump of broadleaf plants. What do you suppose we have here? Professor, I need to move on. I can't delay here any longer. He rips handfuls of green stuff from a hitherto concealed structure. Fascinating, huh? What evil-smelling plants. Professor, I'm going. Professor? He doesn't appear to hear me. Instead, he tugs away huge swathes of greenery. Stalks, leaves, vines, and blossom petals fly back over his shoulder. The man's energy is phenomenal, and his enthusiasm to explore is nothing less than incandescent. He mutters to himself as he searches. Professor! Still, he doesn't listen. Okay, I tell myself, no more delays. You've got to walk to the fortress. You must find Captain Vey and the rest. See you around, Professor. The man shouts, Johnny, here! I glance back. So what this time? Another gravity sensor? A device to sequence molecules in a dewdrop. A gauge to define the parameters of postponing what you must do now until tomorrow. Jeremy, quickly! It's his tone that does it. I run across to him where he stands still, frozen in the act of tearing away a swathe of vines that masks the hardware. Then I see what he's staring at. Monitors. They're working? Yes, but what do they reveal? There are perhaps 20 monitors, probably a little larger than my outstretched hand. Through the mass of vines, I see that they are lit and display moving shapes. Only the leaves of the plants obscure my clear view. With a single movement, I sweep the plants away. It's Captain Vey! I'm stunned. What's happening to him? I glance at the monitors. Each reveals a different scene. Now, I see that they show my comrades from the platoon. But what are they doing? The professor tugs more of the green stuff away from the bank of screens. They're held prisoner, he tells me. See? They're restricted in their movements. It appears to be a small cell of sorts, each soldier in separate confinement. Dread rushes through me in waves as I watch. They seem to be under attack. What's in there with them? I see the way their eyes dart into every corner of the room. They're alert to some danger. A number of the Rangers react to something that is off-screen. Daleks! My hands bunch into fists. Daleks are torturing them. But are they? Look, watch this screen, the one with Captain Vey. The captain crouches in a corner, clutching a steel bar. Part of a chair? As I watch, a dark shape with long limbs darts furiously at him. Captain Vey beats it back with the bar, then retreats to the corner again, panting. His face is grim. I realise he's been fighting his attacker off for some time. The creature must be trying to wear him down. I scan the other monitors. One shows Pup kicking away insects that crawl across the floor toward him. On another screen, Rain is shouting at the figure of a man in uniform. To my astonishment, I see it is me. A second later, she throws herself at it, pushing it back against a wall. It explodes into a swarm of insects. That me was one of the walking hives that have such a sinister habit of shape-changing. My eyes flick from one screen to another as my friends fight their solitary battles. Once more, the long-limbed simian beast launches an attack at Captain Vey. Once more, my commanding officer beats it back. Only this time, I see blood running from a cut in his cheek. How much more of this can he take? There! The professor taps another screen just above eye level. I see Kai in a cell. And what happens next occurs with staggering speed. One moment, she's standing in the center of the room, her helmet gone, her gun in her hands, looking up at the ceiling. Then she tilts her head as if hearing a strange sound. The professor and I hear nothing. We have only visuals, not sound. And all of a sudden, she flinches back. We watch, not even breathing. Suddenly, a deluge of liquid floods into the cell. It swirls around Kai. She struggles to keep to her feet. The liquid surface quickly rises up the walls of the cell. Then it closes over Kai's head. With the liquid reaching the ceiling of the cell, Kai can't break through the surface to breathe. I realize I'm going to have to stand there and watch her drown before my eyes. Now, the camera reveals the cell as it is underwater. Kai is suspended in its center. Bubbles escape from her mouth. She's looking round, trying to find some way out. "No," I breathe. "Please, no." The coldest sensation I've ever known creeps into my stomach. I'm going to stand here and watch my friend die. As I look on, Kai's movements slow. She hangs there, suspended in the liquid. Then, suddenly, she grabs hold of the gun, raises the muzzle with one hand, and finds the trigger with the other. She fires from the hip. The shot carves out a steaming tunnel in the water that instantly collapses into a cloud of bubbles. I let out a terrific whoop. Before I know it, I'm slapping the professor on the back so hard he nearly loses his balance. "See what she's done? See it, Professor? She's only gone and blown a hole right through the wall." He's seen all right. In the cell wall on screen is a hole that you could thrust your 2 fists through. Immediately, the water rushes through it, no doubt flooding some other area of the jail. The currents of the outrush swirl Kai round like she's a doll there in the water. Her limbs wave, her hair swirls round her head. For a moment, I think the evacuation of water from the cell will take too long, that Kai will have been immersed for longer than she can hold her breath. Then I see the level of the fluid drop beneath the lens of the camera. In seconds, Kai raises her head above the surface and is breathing huge lungfuls of air. All the while, the water level drops, until soon she's standing knee-deep with the gunshot hole now exposed in the wall. But even as we watch, a shadowy mist forms in the hole, then hardens into a black seal. My heart plunges because I know what will happen next. Sure enough, just minutes later, the water gushes in again with a force that knocks Kai off her feet. She is submerged. She blasts a hole in the wall. Out rushes the water again. In moments, she's standing panting knee-deep in water. That's going to repeat itself, isn't it? The man nods. I'm afraid it will. Your friends all have their own recurring challenges. Captain Vey battles with the simian creature. Pup swats away poison insects. Ray is confronted again and again by the hive of parasites that can take on human form, my human form. Philippe is the only one not under direct attack. But I see she watches a hole that has appeared in the floor in the corner of her cell. The hole is growing larger. It's slow yet relentless. Philippe goes to peer into it. From her expression, I can tell the drop is a long one, and not one that can be used as a means of escape. If anything, it is the weapon of her execution. All she can do is watch the deadly slow creep of the lip of the pit toward her. At some point, it will consume the entire floor of the cell. The only ranger I don't see is Disari. I hope he escaped the initial attack. It's the Daleks, I tell the professor. They're doing this. Then we must find your friends. I turn, ready to run toward the fortress. One moment, he shouts. I think a little more has just come back to me. I can't wait, Professor. It won't take long. Now, if I do remember correctly, this should... He grips a corner of one of the screens between finger and thumb, then pulls. It peels away. Now it's as flexible and as thin as a sheet of paper. He folds it, then slips it into his pocket. I think it should prove useful to have one of these, don't you? We hurry down the slope, past the pit that nearly claimed the professor's life. Then we pause. A dense swathe of forest lies between us and the cliff-face ramp that rises up to the fortress. That jungle forms a forbidding barrier between us and our goal. Now, the man murmurs, which is the best way through? As I glance at him, I find my attention caught by something beyond him. I touch his arm and nod at what I've seen. There, 100 paces away, is a green mound. Standing on it is the figure of a man, an old man with long white hair, wearing clothes in a style similar to the Professor's. He's facing us, watching us intently. The Professor's eyes fix on him. "My word," he whispers, awed. "It's nothing. Just one of the walking hives." "Yes, I know that, but even so—" Tentative, he runs his fingers over his own face as if he's trying to map out his features. "Only, I'm sure I knew that man once." "Professor, we can't waste any more time." "Time? No, never waste time. Never!" He's distracted by the white-haired figure on the mound. "An old, old man. I knew him long ago." "Come on, Professor. We've got to try and figure a way through that jungle." The old man hasn't moved at all since I first noticed him. Only now he does move. With a slow, deliberate action that is strangely graceful, he raises one arm. He lifts it until the hand is level with the shoulder, the arm extended so it's straight out to the side. Never once does he break eye contact with us. I shake my head. Am I seeing things, or is it, really pointing? He's pointing all right. He's showing us the way. "Professor, it's just a swarm of insects. We can't trust them." "We can at least take a look for ourselves, Jommy. I mean, looking won't bury us, will it? Come on." We run diagonally down the slope. Within 50 paces, we realize that man-shaped cluster of insects hasn't deceived us. There, almost hidden from view by 2 large bushes, is a paved way into the jungle. It looks little more than a tunnel through the greenery, but it's enough. "We should really thank our helpful guide. Every last thousand of his insectile self," the Professor says. Where'd he go?" I look back at the mound. The man has vanished.